So, Bhagavad Gita is a theistic science. Srila Prabhupada mentions this in the first shloka of first chapter, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yosava. So there he mentions that it is a theistic science. Means it is a science, is a Vigyan, which is not atheistic, which has connection with God, and it talks about God, and it involves God in every activity, in every kind of understanding. There is a God in picture, God in background. We learn today's in modern days or contemporary time or even centuries back also, we can see that how our science has become polluted. It has become polluted with the atheistic understanding. Atheistic understanding means we all want to understand, or basically the people outside world, they want to understand everything by experimental knowledge. By their mind and senses, they want to speculate and they want to understand. So then, scholars, scientists, philosophers, politicians, they have written many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita also, because they become so confident that how can this science, which is explaining about God and not matching with our science. So let us explain even this science with our perspective. So then this Bhagavad Gita, which Srila Prabhupada has presented to all of us, and for 10,000 years ahead, uh, this is a special contribution in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, which is not only explaining the traditional understanding of the tattvas in the scriptures, as our Goswamis and other acharyas have given, but also it is relating to the modern science. Like I just mentioned, this modern scientists or modern politicians or philosophers, they are trying to interpret Bhagavad Gita given by Krishna in their way, but Srila Prabhupada interpreted or given interpretation for their understanding in our Bhagavad Gita he is given, so that we can understand in a theistic way how their understanding is imperfect. So we are very, very fortunate because previous acharyas have not given understanding of modern context in their writings. But Srila Prabhupada has given very much proper understanding of the modern context, modern theories, philosophies, and their doctrines and their misconceptions, their speculations. He has put everything around Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada, you find, he was such a great lover of Bhagavad Gita that most of his conversation and his commentaries also, purports also, they include shloka directly from Bhagavad Gita. He may not quote many of the slokas from Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita. Some are very common, but not like a scholarly from so many big, big scriptures. But his whole faith was on Bhagavad Gita. Many shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, very simple. And he will defeat great, great professors, scientists, uh, and so-called, you can say, transcendentalists also. He will defeat if they were not on the line of in parampara. So this was the special effect we can find in the Srila Prabhupada journey, that he has presented Bhagavad Gita in a very uh, contemporary and contextual way in relating to the modern times. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, here we have three units. Unit first is discussing about first chapter to sixth chapter. Second unit will be 7 to 12, and third unit 13 to 18 chapter. So this will complete whole Bhagavad Gita. So today we will be discussing introduction, but before introduction we will be discussing, as you all have Bhagavad Gita with you, so you can see in your Bhagavad Gita copy or in your laptop. We have introduction, but before introduction Srila Prabhupada has given preface also. Preface is also given before introduction. So it is a quite general in many of the books, which are authored by so many people, that they give some introduction, some preface. So there is one thing called prologue. So prologue comes in the books which are like novel or story books. So their prologue comes. Srila Prabhupada has not written a prologue. Uh, Basically, it can be written by author, but generally it is written by somebody else also. So in our Srila Prabhupada books, there is setting of a scene. This is mentioned. So sometimes you find prologue, and also you find foreword in some books. So foreword means what? Foreword means it is written by some very influential person, and he wants to introduce the author to the public. Like, like Srila Prabhupada, when he went to Western country, so he did not have that much reputation in beginning, because Prabhupada was a well-renowned author in India, because he had given his book to Prime Minister and President, and quite local people also were knowledgeable, or they were knowing about Srila Prabhupada. So he had certain reputation in India. But when he went to foreign country, he did not have at all, because he was looking for people to receive the basic simple knowledge what he was wanting to give. So his people were hippies. So hippies were not very much influential or competent. They were simply desirous. They were desiring to learn something from Srila Prabhupada, because he was a good well-wisher and compassionate man, always wanting to help them say something. So then Srila Prabhupada, he so forward means the connecting the audience with the author. So it can be written by somebody else. And then we find here the preface. Preface basically Srila Prabhupada has written while he published this Bhagavad Gita. So you must have heard, there are stories about it, that how Bhagavad Gita was published in Western country, and we also hear that some commentary Srila Prabhupada wrote in India, and then his wife sold that commentary to some kabadi wala, and biscuits, in exchange of some biscuits. And then Srila Prabhupada was very angry. So Prabhupada had also written commentary before that. And in a foreign country, so when Prabhupada went to foreign country, he did not have Bhagavad Gita with him. He had manuscript for Bhagavad Gita, but it was not published actually. And when then Srila Prabhupada, when he went there, so then he was looking for then who can help me in printing my books, because Prabhupada was getting devotees, but he had no books to distribute. And without books, how can people become strong and committed in Krishna conscious process? It's not possible. So then one time Brahmanand Prabhu, he got a mail from Macmillan Company that one of the person is wanting Bhagavad Gita from him. And then he became very much enthusiastic, and he told to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, we have got a call from Macmillan Company. Sometimes devotees, by without knowing the full context, they become so enthusiastic beforehand only. हो जाता है कई बार. Srila Prabhupada also like that. This is the nature of devotees. Srila Prabhupada, when he found David, very enthusiastic person wanting to become devotee, Srila Prabhupada wrote mails, letters actually, mails, letters. He wrote letter to his god brothers that now I have found a interested person in foreign country who is going to be devotee. And Prabhupada is so enthusiastic. Just you imagine, like we do some youth preaching. So one youth has started taking some device class, and then we become so enthusiastic, then we just propagate the whole news around the community. One person has taken device class, the first class he has taken, now has become trying to become committed. So who can in today's time believes so frantically, or means he can believe so nicely that oh now this person will become devotee. Today people say अरे प्रभु जी पहला डिवाइस है, दूसरा बोलो वो रहेगा कि नहीं पता नहीं, तीसरा डिवाइस, चौथा डिवाइस, where he will be we don't know. But Srila Prabhupada had that much faith. it means preaching was so difficult that time. We should understand. When we are also preaching, sometimes it's a cakewalk, sometimes, not all the time, and sometimes for some time. So for some, at some places, for some time it is a cakewalk, and then after some time that becomes a very tough. It's a thorny road. So preaching is not very easy all the times. Srila Prabhupada had to spend 40 years in India and he could not make a single devotee. Only Acharya Prabhakar was a devotee. And he was also not very serious. So Srila Prabhupada spent 40 years trying to preach the gospel of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and nobody was becoming devotee. It means what? It means, was his knowledge or his conviction less? Was he preaching the diluted message? No. Was he having some imperfection in him? No. All the desires were perfect, all the services were taken by Krishna, but result was not coming. And thank God Srila Prabhupada has shown through his own life. Otherwise, if Srila Prabhupada had just done explosion of preaching, then most of us would have become depressed in modern times. Preaching preaching नहीं हो रहा है. Nobody is taking up our books, nobody is taking up the knowledge, everybody is trying to run after materialism, success. Yes, the same message is spoken, same message, and we don't understand logically also why this person is not able to take this message. Why? इतना सही बोला जा रहा है, इतना इतना logical है. Like yesterday, one devotee was saying, how can people of this world are so illogical? Like he was just talking in terms of some political things, that they are supporting some non-religious parties of in politics, or they are not even helping the whole country and they are still supporting. How the people can be so illogical? So it's like that. The world is made like that actually. We cannot know who is getting attracted or inspired for what. Therefore, Krishna says that Chaturvida Bhajante Mam Janasa Kritana. These people are getting attracted towards me and they are coming to me, but they are not pure devotees. They are not pure devotees. For what reason they are getting attracted, God knows. So, surely Krishna is looking for pure devotional service in the heart of the people. Like in Damodar month, so many people come to temple, they show diya, they worship Lord. So some of us may think, oh, Krishna is so famous, so attractive, so many people are coming to him. But just see from Krishna perspective. These people simply come and click selfies, or they just do out of ritual. ठीक है, इस महीने में करना है, कर दिया हमने. They do it. But how many people really, manasi niyojya, their minds are filled with the thoughts of Krishna? Krishna is looking for those people. Krishna is not looking for numbers. This is the reality of life actually. Krishna is looking for the actual heart of the devotees. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, he again and again emphasizes this point. Ananya Cheta. There's a verse, it says that Chetasa na anya gamina. Means the mind should not go into any abhyas yogena yuktena chetasa nanya gamina. Means you do the abhyas, but your chitta, your heart should not go away to any other thing, and then you can achieve me. So to achieve Krishna, or Krishna will achieve that devotee, is only possible through ananya bhakti, kevala bhakti, suddha bhakti. And that is for what Bhagavad Gita is meant. And this was the message Srila Prabhupada wanted to carry to the West, and convince the people of the West who are not at all interested in such kind of new thing. For them, Krishna was new, Bhakti was more new. And Srila Prabhupada was never seen for them. Such a sannyasi who is coming from such a far place. But everything became known to them because Krishna desired that these people should serve Srila Prabhupada, they should take up to path of bhakti and become good devotees. So it was all plan of Krishna that in India preaching could not happen, and in West, Srila Prabhupada when he went, it just after 1 year of struggle, the preaching took up so fast. And then Srila Prabhupada even instituted the ISKCON society there in Western country. Nobody supported Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada asked his god brothers, come, help me. We are going to make a temple, we are having now devotees, please come, you preach. But they were not coming because they thought that Srila Prabhupada's enthusiasm is um, only, it's a sentimental, it's not practical, because some of the god brothers of Srila Prabhupada had said to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, your preaching in West will not be successful. Your message is not practical. So then he said that you may not do, but somebody else may do. So Srila Prabhupada could do that. So never become disheartened when preaching comes. We should always have faith in the message of our acharyas, our parampara. And if we preach, then only we know how much it takes to realize or to understand this message. Because the more we preach and the more people don't take up, then we understand I have to refine myself more and more, and I have to learn more and more, I have to take more and more shelter. Yes. Then what will happen? See, so patana, patanam. Patan karna matlab padna or padana. This is the duty of Brahmana. So we, in the similar way, we have to take up, that is a savanam, and then kirtanam. Kirtanam means then speaking the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Shrimad Bhagavatam. This is there. So this Brahmananda Prabhu, he got the message from Macmillan Company that somebody is calling him, and he just took some good. Prabhupada said, "Okay, take my manuscript, everything. Maybe some good thing can happen." And when he went there, he found that there was a clerk who had asked for one Bhagavad Gita from Brahmanandpur. And what Brahmanandpur thought, Bhagavad Gita chapne wali hai abhi. And he had just asked for some book of Bhagavad Gita. That's so that he can read. And then when he heard that there is a clerk, he got really depressed. You are only a clerk and you wanted Bhagavad Gita. Okay, no problem, take Bhagavad Gita. And then in that company, immediately that clerk became a little respectful, and because the chief officer, the main of the company, he was just passing through that way. And then Brahmanantu, he saw behind. So then he said, the clerk said, oh, he's a chief man. He can really help you. So then he asked, will he help us in printing the book? So yes, but he is very difficult to meet. He is quite busy person. And then they were just looking at him that he was going into the glass door inside and then cabin. Immediately after some time, he comes out because he had seen some sadhus in his office, in his office. So then he comes and then he says, do you have one copy of Bhagavad Gita? Or do you belong to certain Indian cult? So he said, yes, we belong to Indian cult. We are practicing some Indian philosophies in our life, and we have our guru, sadhu, sannyasis. Oh, it's very nice. So actually, this year we are planning to have books from all the religions, like from Christianity, the Bible, then from the Mohammedans, there is the Quran, but only thing we don't have is some Hindu scriptures. So we wanted Bhagavad Gita. Do you have Bhagavad Gita? So just see that how the coincidence happened. And immediately he said, yes, we have Bhagavad Gita. We have a very thick Bhagavad Gita. The Prabhupada had a thick manuscript written. Bhagavad Gita. Haigiri Prabhu was editing that. You know that Haigiri Prabhu came, he was a professor, English professor, and then Prabhupada had given him tasks that you should do editing of my manuscript. So then Haigiri Prabhu, the Macmillan Company, they had a set number of the pages. That many pages only should be printed because they did not want to print everything. So then they said that around 400 pages we can print in your Bhagavad Gita. So therefore you cut down the parts. So therefore you find here in the preface, Srila Prabhupada mentions, you go to the preface, the Prabhupada mentions that originally I wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is in the form in which it is presented now. When this book was first published, the original manuscript was unfortunately cut short to less than 400 pages. So this is not the Bhagavad Gita what we have. This is not the one Macmillan one. Macmillan one was in the beginning. So that had less than 400 pages because they wanted to print a small copy of Bhagavad Gita. And then, but that gave the name to Srila Prabhupada's writing. and he became famous. So they immediately gave to Hagiri Prabhu. Hagiri Prabhu had a hard time to cut uh, purports of Srila Prabhupada, and then he submitted the manuscript for printing. And then Srila Prabhupada in preface he writes that actually the way he presents his books is he gives five things: shloka, transliteration, word to word meaning, translation, purport. Five things Srila Prabhupada gives in every kind of books, not like Ishopanishad. Ishopanishad he may not give, but in Bhagavad Gita, in Shrimad Bhagavatam, in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, he did not give a Sanskrit Devanagari one, because anyway that was Bengali. But in Bhagavad Gita he had given this. So five things. So Srila Prabhupada says that this is the way, this makes his presentation scholarly, authentic and scholarly, and makes the meaningful meaning self-evident. And Prabhupada says, I was not very happy. Therefore, when I had to minimize my original manuscript. So Srila Prabhupada wanted to print Bhagavad Gita as it is, without reducing any of the purports, any of the other things like transliteration and translation or word-to-word meaning. So we are so, for us it's so easy to read Bhagavad Gita and understand, because we need not to go to some Sanskrit text to understand. Prabhupada has given even the meaning of every word. In traditional commentaries, they never write translation of any verse. There is no translation for any verse. Only Srila Prabhupada started writing translation for verse. Like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, they simply write the whole meaning of, means meaning as well as explanation. Everything is there in their commentary. It's not like translation, what this verse says. This was a contribution given by Srila Prabhupada. So you find translation and purport separate. Bhanuswami Maharaj also wrote VCT translation, you may find. But that is Bhanuswami Maharaj has written. It's not that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written translation. No translation. So in previous times, traditionally there are no translations. They will directly write the commentary, the whole analysis of the verse, not that meaning, immediately writing the meaning. No, because they were scholars and they will do अन्वय, immediately they will do अन्वय कि क्या मतलब है, सब समझ में आता था. अभी हम लोग scholar नहीं है, we don't know anything. So therefore Srila Prabhupada, understanding the situation of all of us through Western boys, if we will become Western tomorrow, he understood. And so he saw the Western people and understood they will not understand Sanskrit. So let me write down everything so that they need not to go to any other books to understand. So, yes. And then Srila Prabhupada writes here, our Krishna conscious movement is genuine, historical, authorized, natural and transcendental. Five things. Due to is based on the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And so genuine, historical, authorized, natural and transcendental. So Bhagavad Gita is also, so our movement is transcendental, it's genuine, it's historical. So when now this is a month of book distribution also. Sometimes people may question, what is your movement? So you can say our movement has five characteristics. What are those? Our movement is genuine, our movement is historical, our movement is authorized, our movement is natural, our movement is transcendental. So like that. Because it is based on Bhagavad Gita as it is. And it is becoming the most popular movement in the entire world. And especially Prabhupada says that it is becoming popular in amongst the younger generation. So yeah, we also see nowadays. So why it is becoming a popular younger generation? Somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, in your movement or in your temples, young people are there. So Srila Prabhupada says, when you go to college, do you find old people? Maybe professors, but the students are all young, because youth is meant for learning. Yes, in youth only we can learn, we can memorize, we can do analysis, we can do a lot of research, do big things, because we have a lot of energy. Not only we have physical but mental energy also, so it can be nicely utilized in youth. So the learning age is that. So Srila Prabhupada says, because I have a mission and I have a movement which is teaching Krishna consciousness. And teaching Krishna consciousness is not simply chanting or dancing. Rather, it's a learning, it's educational. We are changing our consciousness by reading books, by discussing the transcendental subject matter. So therefore, there are many younger generation also getting attracted. And then Srila Prabhupada says, not only that, even the older generation are also taking up. How? By becoming life members. They're becoming life members. And Srila Prabhupada said that some of the old people, they came to Srila Prabhupada and they were grateful that Srila Prabhupada has brought this moment into into America, and thus their children or their sons and daughters, they got a healthy, hygienic life, and Krishna conscious life. So they were very much grateful to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says here. So Prabhupada says, I don't have any credit in this matter. My Guru Maharaj, he has sent me to this world, and so therefore I am doing. And what if you want to give me some credit? My credit is that I have presented Bhagavad Gita as it is without any adulteration. Otherwise, everything belongs to my Guru Maharaj. I've just presented whatever he has taught me or whatever learned from him. So you find Srila Prabhupada is very, very alert, very, very, you can say, concerned about presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is. He's quite concerned. In his introduction, also he mentions, in his preface also mentions, in purports also he will mention, and in his lectures also he will mention. He's all the time very much careful that this knowledge should not be adulterated. This knowledge should not be adulterated. Because the tendency of conditioned soul is what? He will want to learn according to his own mind and senses, or he will want to seek for some sense gratification, even in knowledge. So therefore, so many philosophers are there in the world, and so he will pollute the right knowledge also. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada all the time is saying, and he says that there is no use of learning Bhagavad Gita. It's a simply waste of time if it is a speculation of somebody. If you are learning the speculation of somebody, there is no use of learning Bhagavad Gita. Like we went to one school and we said we want to teach Bhagavad Gita. The school person, the madam, she said, do you know Sanskrit? We said, we know a little bit, not much, but we can teach Bhagavad Gita. How to recite shlokas, what is the meaning of shlokas, and some stories also. So then they thought, oh, it's not very impactful. Okay, okay, we will find out some Sanskrit teacher. Just see, this is the understanding of outside people. They don't want to take knowledge in parampara. They simply want to do grammatical work. What is the use of grammatical work in Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is not meant for learning grammar. People will learn grammar through Bhagavad Gita. First, they should understand the bhava, the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada begins his introduction with the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. So this is very, very important, that the spirit should not be contaminated by any author or any speaker. Bhagavad Gita should be presented as it is. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada used to say many times, this is your understanding, but this is not what Bhagavad Gita says. Bhagavad Gita says something else. So what is Bhagavad Gita understanding is Krishna understanding. Whatever Krishna wants to say, he has said in Bhagavad Gita. And then Arjuna, as a sincere, ardent student, he has accepted in that way. And we also have to accept in the way Arjuna has accepted. And this is taught by Srila Prabhupada. So our business is to present the will of Krishna, not that of any mundane speculators like politicians, philosophers or scientists. For they have very little knowledge of Krishna. Despite all their knowledge, when Krishna says, Man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, we, unlike so-called scholars, do not say that Krishna and his inner spirit are different. So we know that scholar says that, Dr. Radha Krishna, he says that Krishna inside and Krishna outside are different. So when Krishna says Man mana bhav mad bhakto, or he says that Sardharman paritajya mam ekam sharana, so then he says, Dr. Radha Krishna, he says, you should surrender to the spirit inside Krishna, not to external Krishna. The external body of Krishna, he thinks it's a Maya, because God is a Nirakar. When he comes into this world, he takes up the Maya form and just to relate with all of us. And then when he goes back to the spiritual world or Brahman, he gives away the body of material body. So this is a Mayavad understanding, and in this understanding they are writing Bhagavad Gita, and so he's saying that you have to surrender the spirit inside Krishna. And Prabhupada says here there is no difference between the inner spirit and Krishna. Both are same. Krishna is absolute. There is no difference. His name, his form, his pastimes, his qualities, everything, all are same. This is the absolute position of Krishna, and it is difficult to understand for any person who is not a devotee of Krishna in the system of parampara. Parampara, very important. So in the system of parampara, when Vedic knowledge comes in parampara, it is called Amnaya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions Amnaya. Amnaya means the Vedic knowledge come into parampara. So the parampara has some tinge, they have a certain, you can say, flavor to teach the knowledge. Some flavor is there in parampara. See, flavor sometimes may overpower the taste of the certain delicacies. Like this time in Radhanath Swami Yatra, Maharaj Yatra, they had made some firni one day, and that firni got burnt. So then they thought, what to be done? 10,000 people, we have made firni. अभी करना क्या है? सबको पिलाया तो सब गाली देने वाले. So then they diverted the taste only. And this was known to very some confidential people. उन्होंने कुछ उसमें mix कर दिया, so that the whole taste got little diverted. And people thought it was so tasty. So they did not know only कि it was different item. Now it has become different item. उसका taste पूरा divert कर दिया. Recently we took halwa for youth program, and then the halwa was not made properly. It was like liver, like water was too much, but they have put the biscuit taste in that flavor. So I asked the boys, how was the halwa? So they say, oh, so nice halwa. मैं बोला, अरे, they did not know only this is not properly cooked. So sometimes the flavor inside the preparation is so much that it diverts the taste only, and person understands that it is something different actually. So sometimes when we take the literal meaning of Bhagavad Gita and when we understand from Srila Prabhupada, sometimes we say, अरे ये flavor अलग ही है, Prabhupada कुछ अलग ही समझा रहे हैं. But no, that's why Krishna says Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Bhagavad Gita can only be understood through flavor. It cannot be understood literally. It requires flavor of devotion. That is why it is called spirit. Krishna says that because bhakti is not a literal thing. Bhakti is a rasa. And like somebody like Krishna is eating from the hands of wife of Vidura. And what is eating? Peels of banana. And he's tasting peels of banana. Now what is the taste in peels of banana? Can anyone say? No taste. It is simply to be eaten by some animal. It should not be eaten by human also. But Krishna is relishing that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is relishing the food particle, or you can say the rice grains in the hands of Raghunath Das Goswami. And what were those grains? They were Jagannath Prasadam. They were spit out by the cows, Kalinga cow. They could not eat. They spit out those rice particles. And then Raghunath Das Goswami took those particles. He washed it. He removed the external covering, or means the external part of the rice, and took the internal part, and then put some salt and eating. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is eating that. And what is the taste of that? But he's tasting the renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami. And in here, the wife of Vidura, he is tasting the devotion of her. So in literally, actually you find, literally there is no taste, but he's tasting something. This is what bhakti, the flavor of devotee. The devotee is just putting some झाड़ू लगा रहा है. कितने साल हो गए? 40 साल से झाड़ू मार रहा है. Or devotee is simply chanting holy name on beats. How many years? Many years passed. अभी भी सोता है. Now also he sleeps in chanting. But Krishna is tasting the flavor. So therefore, Krishna is not a god of a literal meaning, or he just wants everything perfect. Then only he will accept a devotee's offering. No, Krishna bhavgrahi janardana. So the flavor is there. So Srila Prabhupada Therefore, nobody could understand Bhagavad Gita in such a better way what Srila Prabhupada has represented actually. So that he gave a flavor to understand Bhagavad Gita because he's connected with Lord directly. So he's experiencing that rasa, the prema of Krishna in his heart. So then ahead he says, Mayavada bhasa sunle hoy sarvanas. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had warned us that we should not hear Mayavad. Nowadays, Mayavad is quite prevalent on YouTube's, and YouTube is quite prevalent in our day-to-day learning. Yes, so therefore we have to be quite cautious that first we should complete Srila Prabhupada books and his lectures and Guru Maharaj lectures. Very thoroughly we should try to hear, and then we can go here and there and try to learn. But we should be quite fixed up in our own rice dal, sabji chapati. So Srila Prabhupada has given our own food, healthy, nutrient food, hygienic food. So Prabhupada has given so many lectures on Bhagavad Gita. We should hear those lectures to understand Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam as well. So this is important. So Mayavada bhasa sunne hoye sarvanas. Then Srila Prabhupada says, our only purpose is to present Bhagavad Gita in order to guide the conditioned soul to the same purpose for which Krishna descended to this planet once in the day of Brahma. 8600 million years after every 8600 million years Krishna appears to this material world. And Prabhupada says, the purpose is stated in Bhagavad Gita that we have to accept it as it is. See, again he is saying, otherwise there is no point in trying to understand Bhagavad Gita and the speaker Sri Krishna. The Lord Krishna first spoke Bhagavad Gita to Sun God. This we know that many millions of years ago. Evam vivasvate yogam proktavanam abhyam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvakave bravit. So he says that. Okay. So without misinterpretation, thus understand the historical significance of Bhagavad Gita. This is what historical significance. Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Sun God. This is historical. It is a science spoken to Sun God, not a time pass. So Krishna did not go to Sun God to do time pass with him. Like people say, Bhagavad Gita, how is it authentic? So this is authenticity, that it was spoken to Sun God. Such a prime person. We know that according to Bhagavatam philosophy, the sun is the beginning of creation actually. Because many times Srila Prabhupada says also, the light in the sun is a Brahman. It's a light of Brahman. And it is a seed, like Surya Narayan. So Narayana is staying inside the Surya. And that sun is a cause of Urja, energy throughout the whole universe. So this world cannot be maintained without sun. The sun is required. And sun, Srila Prabhupada many times says that sun is the beginning of the creation of this whole planets, everything. So sun, the Raja Samastamurti Asesa Teja, he is the Raja of all the planets. Who? Sun. Sun is the king of all the planets. So to the king, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. And here also, Arjuna is also a king, and he is speaking Bhagavad Gita. So he especially gives to the leaders. So leaders have first chance to accept Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna became the first disciple. Prabhupada says here. This Krishna conscious movement is essential in human society, for it offers the highest perfection of life. How this is so is explained fully in Bhagavad Gita. And then he says that people are, again he says the same thing, that they are misleading other peoples by their demonic propensities, by misinterpreting the Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Mayavadi speculators had to undergo this process. Okay. And at last, in the last paragraph, he says that people in general, especially in this age of Kali, are enamored by the external energy of Krishna, and they wrongly think that by advancement of material comforts, every man will be happy. They have no knowledge that material or external nature is very strong, for everyone is strongly bound by the stringent laws of material nature. A living entity is happily the part and parcel of the Lord, and thus his natural function is to render immediate service to the Lord. By the spell of illusion, one tries to be happy by serving his personal sense gratification in different forms, which will never make him happy. Instead of satisfying his own personal material senses, he has to satisfy the senses of the Lord. This is the highest perfection of life. The Lord wants this and demands this. This is the central point of Bhagavad Gita. So, what is central point of Bhagavad Gita? Living entity has misunderstood that by trying to control material energy, trying to manipulate material energy, he can be happy. And it is not possible because material energy is under control of Krishna. So Krishna will not allow material energy to give happiness to living entity. He will stop it. See, Srimati Radharani is a spiritual energy. She can give spiritual happiness to living entities, Haradani Shakti. So she is free to give because Krishna has allowed, because all are his obedient sons in the spiritual world. But right now we are disobedient son in material world. So Krishna has said no. You should not allow them more enjoyment. यहीं पे रोक दो. So therefore there is a control by Ishvara, and he has controlled material nature not to give us all freedom and also give us suffering. So therefore Prabhupada adds here that it is very strong, material nature is very strong, and everyone is bound by the laws of material nature. So laws are binding us so much that if you want to do something, it will not happen, it will not be allowed. Again you try to do, again it will not be allowed. Third time you do, fourth time you do, then okay, chalo, de diya. Therefore you find, like when you learn something, how much hard work we have to do for learning. Yes. Why? Because we are bound by the laws. They will not allow us. You are like some children, they have to learn something. Oh, they are simply beating the head not of them, but even their parents. Parents are saying, अरे तेरे को याद क्यों नहीं होता है? कितनी बार तेरे को रटाया, फिर भी याद नहीं होता तेरे को. क्यों? Because they are bound by the laws of nature, stringent laws of nature. It's not simply by reading, reciting you will learn. No, there is a fix. यहाँ पे फिक्स कर दिया ऑलरेडी, इससे ज़्यादा अंदर घुसेगा ही नहीं. दोबारा ट्राई मारो तो और घुसेगा, तिबारा और घुसेगा. Like that, slowly slowly it will go inside. So it means we are bound by the stringent laws of nature. So this is a basically three gunas, mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Those who are in mode of goodness, especially those are born in that way also, so they then have that good memory, good capacity for absorption. Then those who are in passion, very snap decision they take. So passionate people, they forget, and ignorance people, they don't remember only anything. So it's like that. So therefore we are bound by the three gunas, and these three gunas we learn in Bhagavad Gita later. Okay. So this is a Marxist mantra, and what is the benefit of reading Bhagavad Gita? If you go to the end of introduction, so that we should read those end of introduction from Gita Mahatmya before we begin Bhagavad Gita introduction. Gita dhyana silasya pranayam parasya cha naiva santi hi papani purva janma kritani cha. Okay, one of you can read the meaning. Have you approached the last section of introduction? There you find this Gita Mahatmya, sloka number 2. कौन पढ़ सकता है? Who can read?
I can read, bro.
Yes.
So this one, if one reads Bhagavad Gita, this one, right? Bro?
Yes.
Thank you. If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reaction of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. Gita Mahatmya 2, the Lord says very loudly in the last portion of Bhagavad Gita 18.66.
Yes. So Gita Mahatmya. This second one we know that Sardharma and Pariteja. So what is the benefit of reading Bhagavad Gita? One who reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely, with all seriousness, then the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. It means what? It means whenever sometime we are very much suffering in our life. So one thing is to take to holy name, chant holy name, but whole day you may not be able to chant. Start reading Bhagavad Gita, and reading means it's mentioned sincerely, means read the purport, understand properly what Krishna is saying. So this is having some, you can say, the importance. I will read many other things from other Vaishnava Tantra also. But what is the benefit of reading Bhagavad Gita. Then मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृत् गीतामृतं स्नानं संसारमलनाशनं. Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Abandon all varieties of religion
No,
and
no, no.
just
Go to the next one.
oh,
One may
sorry.
cleanse.
Sorry, one may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water. But if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. Gita
Ah,
Mahatma 3.
yes. These are the slokas we can also memorize. So all the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished if one at once means even one time one takes a dip in the Ganges of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, next. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kim Anye Sastra Vistare Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmad Vinishrita.
Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities that it is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literatures. But this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and especially because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Gita Mahatma 4.
Ah, everything in all Vedic scripture, whatever you may have to find, it's given in Bhagavad Gita. Surely, detailed knowledge may not have been given, eh? But what is relevant for us to get some like a reference, if you want to find whether there is something about mind, okay, go to Bhagavad Gita. And then in other scriptures, lot of descriptions might have been given also. That is also there. But Bhagavad Gita contains all such topics what are there in other Vedic literatures in concise form. It's there. Okay, and then भारत अमृत सर्वस्य सर्ववसं सर्व सर्वस्वं विष्णुवक्त्राद् विनिश्रितं गीता गंगोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते.
One who drinks the water of the Ganges attains salvation. So, what to speak of one who drinks the nectar of Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is the essential nectar of Mahabharata, and it is spoken by Lord Krishna himself, the original Vishnu. Gita Mahatma 5. Bhagavad Gita comes from the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Ganges is said to emanate from the lotus feet of the Lord. Of course, there is no difference between the mouth and the feet of the Supreme Lord, but from an impartial study, we can appreciate that Bhagavad Gita is even more important than the water of the Ganges.
Hmm. गीता गंगोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते. So by reading Bhagavad Gita or by drinking this Ganga of Gita, one won't be taking the next birth. It's a Vishnu Vaktrad Vinishritam. Okay. Saropanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopala Nandana Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amritam Mahat.
Hare Krishna. The Gita Upanishad Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all Upanishads, is just like a cow. And Lord Krishna, who is famous as a cowherd boy, is milking this cow. Arjun is just like a calf, and learned scholar and pure devotee are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita, Gita Mahatma 6.
Okay. So Sarva Upanishado Gavo, if we take all the Upanishad and mix them together, then there is a cow. So if you take all Upanishad as a cow, Dugdha Gopala Nandana. So Gopal Nandana is a milkman who will take out the milk. Partho Vatsaha. So Partha means Arjuna is a bachda, calf. Sudhir Bhokta, Dugdham Gita Amritam. Asudhir Bhokta means all the intelligent devotees. They are the Bhokta means they will drink the milk after it is milked. So Krishna is a Gwala. He will milk from all the scriptures coming together in the form of a cow, and he is milking, Krishna is milking that, and that milk is what? That milk is Gita Amritam. So all the scripture, if you want to milk out what is the essence of all the scriptures, that is Bhagavad Gita. And that Bhagavad Gita will only be milked by Krishna and through the help of Bachada, Arjuna. So therefore Prabhupada says we have to understand Bhagavad Gita as explained by Krishna in the way understood by Arjuna, and so we'll understand Bhagavad Gita. So Dugdham Gita Amritam Mahat. So that Mahat Dugdham is Gita Amritam. So we all can drink this milk uh, because it is milked by Krishna. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Eko Deva Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva.
In this present day, people are very much eager to have one scripture, one God, one religion, and one occupation. Therefore, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam is let there be one scripture only, one common scripture for the whole world, Bhagavad Gita. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Let there be one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna. Eko Mantras Tasya Namani, and one hymn, one mantra, one prayer, the chanting of his name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Karmapi ekam tasya devasya seva, and let there be one work only, the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay. So there is also mention of other places that if you read Bhagavad Gita, little of Bhagavad Gita, little of Ganges, and little worship you do of Krishna, then you will not have to go to Yamlok. It is mentioned. Bhagavad Gita Kinchit Dita Ganga Jallav Kanika Pita Sakrid Api Yen Murari Samarcha Kriyate Tasya Yamena Charcha. So no Yamena Charcha will happen when we do worship of Murari and we take the Ganga of Gita as well as real Ganga, Ganga Jalalava, Kanaka Pita, and Bhagavad Gita, Kinchit Dhita. Kinchit thoda sa pad lo. But surely this shloka is saying you will not go to Yamlok. But our goal is not to simply avoid going Yamlok. Our goal is to develop Prema, Krishna Prema. So therefore we have to read Bhagavad Gita completely. So Krishna says in 11.54 shloka, Bhaktya to ananya sakya aham evam vidu Arjuna gyatum drashtum cha tattvena paraveshtum cha parantapa. So he says that you can understand me as it is, as I'm standing in front of you. How? Only by Bhaktya to ananya sakya, undivided devotional service. Praveshtum means only in that way you can pravesh, matlab you can enter into the mystery of my understanding. So if you want to understand God, first we have to have devotion. Through that devotion, we will have the password to understand Him. That devotion will give us the password to understand Krishna. Okay, so this is something, and from Gita Mahatma, from other scriptures also it is mentioned. Even in Padma Puran it is mentioned that 6 to 5 chapters, first to 5 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are the 5 heads of Vishwarup. First to 5 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are 5 heads of Vishwarup. 6 to 15 chapters are the 10 hands of Vishwarup. And 16 chapter is a navel of Vishwarup. This is Bhagavad Gita. And 17 and 18 chapters are the lotus feet of Vishwarup. So Bhagavad Gita is basically Vishwarupa. This is just for information. And Bhagavad Gita had 18 chapters. All of us know that. And even for some people who wants to take some material benefit from Bhagavad Gita, that is also possible. It's given in the scriptures. Like Vaishnavi Tantra Sar, it is mentioned. Many things it is mentioned actually in this. Like what we read for or we know for our holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam, similar kind of glorification for Bhagavad Gita also is mentioned. So, like, neither the singing of Vedas nor the performance of charity, sacrifice, pilgrimage, or vows can bring such satisfaction to Krishna, the son of Devaki, as does the singing of Gita. If somebody is singing Bhagavad Gita, that will give more pleasure to Lord Sri Krishna than singing of the Vedas and performance of charity, sacrifices. The study of Vedas and Puranas, verily the study of all the scriptures is fulfilled in all respect by one who studies the Gita with devotion. Means the study of Vedas and Purana is fulfilled or complete when we read Bhagavad Gita with devotion. The highest perfection of life is attained by one who sings Gita at the place of yoga meditation, at the place of worship, before the saligram, in the association of saintly persons, during a sacrifice, and before devotee of Vishnu. So all these places, if he sings, then he will achieve the highest perfection. Gita Pathanam cha Shravanam Yah Karoti Dine Dine. So he says, one who daily hears and sings Gita is to be considered having accomplished the performance of all sacrifices such as Aswamedh Yagya and others, including the receiving of sacrificial gift also. So he has received everything and he has done Yagya also, if he is reading Bhagavad Gita every day. His daily hearing and singing Gita is considered to be accomplished everything. One who attentively hears and sings the glories of the purport of Bhagavad Gita or reiterates it to others attains the supreme destination. Will achieve the supreme destination. Okay, now another thing. The sorrow caused by terrible curse or black rites can never enter the home where Gita is worshipped. So any black rite, काला जादू, कहीं भी जहाँ पे भगवत गीता का वर्शिप होता है, जहाँ पे उसके पाठ किया जाता है, वहाँ पे ये सब नहीं आएगा. Then, in that house there is never suffering of threefold miseries, nor fear of any illness, curse, sin, misfortune, or hellish existence. So these Shastric statements are to build our faith. And with this faith, when we follow the process, then we'll get the result. So it's mentioned here, in any house, there will be no suffering of threefold miseries, no fear. So therefore, our Acharya was so confident. I have Bhagavad Gita. I know the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. I want to follow. I am following that Bhagavad Gita. I am teaching that Bhagavad Gita. So much confident one should be. There is no need of any other things. In that house, no one is ever afflicted with the infectious diseases, and the residents attain undeviating devotion in the service to lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. He is never afflicted with any infectious diseases also. So even though somebody is infected, he can read Bhagavad Gita and get rid of his sins. So it's like mentioned. Whether in the inauspiciousness of wrong action or malevolent speech, of eating unacceptable food or touching untouchable, or the sin knowingly or unknowingly contracted through senses in the course of daily activities, all evils are immediately dispelled by singing Gita with devotion. Any unknowingly, knowingly work done or sinful activity may done, just by reading Bhagavad Gita with devotion, this is finished. Means, or this is all sins are vanquished. One sincerely devoted to singing Gita is never implicated despite accepting food in all places or gift in all kinds of circumstances. अब ये तो हमारे लिए बोनस नहीं है, कि कहीं भी जाके खा लो बाहर. प्रभुपाद जी ने बोला नहीं खाना है. So the glories of Gita is so much. If we have so much faith that Bhagavad Gita is there, that, see, everything, the advancement even in Bhakti is based on the faith. Yes. So like Mukunda said, I will see Lord Gauranga after 10 million births. I will see. He was so confident he will see Lord Gauranga. So in the similar way, if somebody says that, I have read Bhagavad Gita, I will read Bhagavad Gita, and I will be reading Bhagavad Gita, I will be explaining Bhagavad Gita, then go ahead. Your life is successful. You are glorious soul. One who takes unlawful possession of earth, entire earth full of jewels, he too will be innocent by singing Bhagavad Gita but once. एक बार भगवद गीता गाया तो उसका हार्ट become simple. His heart will be clear as and crystal, clear as crystal. A person whose heart is ever joyfully absorbed in Gita is to be considered fully accomplished in sacrifices, always in prayer, perfect in his action, and truly learned. For one who constantly studies Gita, the demigods, the sages, and the yogis all preside as guardians in the body even at a time of death. So all demigods they come, time of death also. All the holy places in the world, such as Prayag and others, are present wherever the holy book of Gita is present and sung constantly. So all holy places are also there, demigods are also there, sages are also there, wherever Bhagavad Gita is sung. When, Wherever the Gita is sung, the gracious cowherd boy Sri Krishna swiftly appears as a friend, accompanied by his associates Narada, Dhruva, and others. Wherever the Gita scripture is discussed, studied, and taught, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna comes with a great joy, accompanied by Srimati Radharani. And Krishna says, the Supreme Lord said, O Parth, the Gita is my heart. The Gita is my supreme essence. The Gita is the most powerful, imperishable knowledge of me. The Gita is my supreme place. The Gita is my supreme plane. The Gita is my most hidden treasure. The Gita is my supreme teacher. I am present within the Gita. The Gita is my supreme abode. I maintain the three worlds by eternal wisdom of Gita. The Gita is my transcendental wisdom, my own self, conveyed by every letter and comprised of eternally infectable verses. O Pandavas, I shall tell you that the holy names of the Gita, by singing these names, one is immediately absolved of all the sins. Hear now those confidential names from me. So, like that, the glories keep going ahead. One who sings with devotion one chapter daily will be recognized as an associate of Lord Shiva, and he will attain residence in the abode of Lord Shiva for immeasurable time. One who does with devotion, one who recites one chapter daily. One who unfailingly sings two of its chapters every day will surely attain residence in the abode of Lord Indra for 1 millennium. One will achieve the fruit of Soma sacrifice by singing 1/3 of the Gita, and the result of bathing in Ganges is achieved by chanting 1/6 of it. If one is unable to sing the entire Gita, half of it should be sung. Then without doubt the piety gained by making a gift of cows will be attained. आधा चैप्टर किया तो गाय दान के बराबर. A person who daily sings 1/2 or only 1/4 of the chapter will achieve residence in the abode of sun for the time of 100 manus. See what is mentioned here. बहुत ही high thing. A person who daily sings 1/2 or only 1/4 of a chapter. Agar 40 shloka means even 10 shloka also every day somebody is reading, he will achieve residence in the abode of sun for the time of 100 manus. And if you read one chapter daily, then you will go to Lord Shiva's place. And if you read 2 chapters, you will go to Indra's place for 1 millennium. A person who faithfully sings 10, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2 verses, one or only half a verse of Gita will attain residence on the moon for 10,000 years. अरे वो इसलिए प्रभुपाद बोलते थे मेरा एक वर्ड भी पढ़ लिया ना, ठीक है इसमें डिवोशन का ऐड नहीं किया है, बट अगर एक वर्ड भी पढ़ लिया तो उसका लाइफ सक्सेसफुल हो जाएगा. सो मून पे भी जाना है किसी को, किसी साइंटिस्ट को मून पे जाना है तो बस गीता पढ़ना है. यहाँ पे लिखा है कि you will attain residence on the moon for 10,000 years. One who at a time of leaving the body remembers half the Gita, a quarter of Gita, one chapter or only one verse of Gita, he reaches the supreme destination. This is also mentioned. By singing or hearing the purport of the Gita at the time of death, even a greatly sinful person qualifies for liberation. So important. People who are dying in this world, they should be taught before death Bhagavad Gita. Yes, because that will help them in their eternal destination. One who is touching the holy book of Gita at the time of leaving the body will attain to Vaikuntha and joyfully reside in the association of Supreme Lord Vishnu. Just touching of holy book of Gita. One whose concentration is intent on just one chapter of Gita will attain human birth after death. Then again studying the Gita, he achieves the ultimate liberation. You see, one chapter of Bhagavad Gita will attain human birth, and then again he will come back to read Bhagavad Gita and attain liberation. One who utters the word Gita at the time of death attains the life fulfillment. गीता ही बोल दिया तो all the actions performed along with the singing of Gita becomes purified and successful. A person who sings Gita during the performance of obsequial ceremonies satisfies his forefathers, who being liberated from hellish existence ascend to heaven. So even recitations of Bhagavad Gita helps to forefather, they can be liberated. Satisfied by the offering accompanied by singing of Gita, the ancestors offer their descendants their blessings and ascend to heavenly plane known as Pitralok. See, very important. Pitr Paksh bhi bahut chal raha tha. Satisfied by the offering accompanied by singing of Gita. So somebody is offering something to Pitras, you can sing Bhagavad Gita shlokas, then ancestors offer their descendants their blessings and they go to Pitralok. A person who makes a gift of a book of Gita with yak tail whisk achieves success in all endeavors that day. Yak tail, you know na, like चामर. चामर होता है ना अपने वर्शिप में, करते हैं ना हम चामर. So the chamara, you give Bhagavad Gita and do some chamar to Bhagavad Gita and to that person also and give him. Then the whole day, whatever you have some objective to attain in your life, you will attain. सब जगह सक्सेस हो जाएगा. ठीक है. अब one who makes a gift of book of Gita along with the presentation of gold to a learned Brahmana never takes birth in material world again. So many glories are there. We'll now stop it and go ahead. So why I was reading all these things? That this Bhagavad Gita is not a simple book actually. Srila Prabhupada has given the core of Bhagavad Gita to us. But even the external of this book also is so relevant to the people of this world. We do not know how Yamraj is making our accounts. कैसे बना रहे हैं, क्या क्या हमने ये किया है. Just by being touched with some such verses and having faith in Bhagavad Gita's glories like that, so we can get rid of all such things. Surely our holy name is Sarva Rog Nivarani, that is already there, but we may not be able to chant all the time, so we can read Bhagavad Gita, we can carry Bhagavad Gita wherever we go, and we can distribute Bhagavad Gita. Unknowingly, so much piety, devotional piety, we are gaining in our life. So therefore, in this month, we should distribute Bhagavad Gita. It is mentioned here. And make people, make your family members chant, make children chant Bhagavad Gita. This is March month. 18 days, Lord Sri Krishna remained on the chariot as a chariot driver of Arjuna. Bhakta Vatsala. 18 days actually. And 18 days this war went. Yeah, this is also Gita Mat, Chandvara Puran. Yeah, you may share with other devotees. So 18 days Krishna remained in this month on the chariot, and he was guiding Arjuna how to fight. So therefore this month is so auspicious to worship Bhagavad Gita and the dealings between Krishna and Arjuna. Okay, what is the question? Amrish Pran Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. So my question is, Prabhuji, you're reading about Mahatmya of Gita, and we spoke that even if someone wants to do it externally, there are so many benefits, right? So first question is, what should be the ideal purpose of, or like right purpose of reading Bhagavad Gita for us, for devotees? That's the first thing. So that we are in line with what Prabhupada wanted from devotees, and with that proper mood, we can read Bhagavad Gita and study Bhakti Shastri. That's the first question. And second question, as you already smiled, you might have understood that if uh, that if these things with this purpose, if someone is doing or reading Bhagavad Gita, and if those things doesn't happen, seem to happen, the faith of the person is get disturbed. So, how much should we rely on these verses? Because I have seen people in my families also who would religiously recite Bhagavad Gita, uh, entire Bhagavad Gita daily from many years. From many years they are doing.
Mm.
But in the habits, it's like zero. And they
Mm.
keep doing sinful activity, they keep doing wrong activities, and they have full faith that if I keep reciting Bhagavad Gita entire life, I'll go go to some higher planet and I'll get some good place to reside after death, even though I do all sinful activities.
Mm. Okay, okay.
So
Mm.
yeah.
Okay. Nice question. So, first for the devotees, and then for others. So, what should be the purpose of devotees uh, in reading Bhagavad Gita, or in general Bhakti Shastri? There can be there are earlier there were 12 aims of Bhakti Shastri, to read any scripture, Shastric literature, the 12 aims. But later, ISKCON removed those 12 aims. Basically, they were thought of by some devotees and they're brought. So that now they are not telling those things. But in general, in any teaching, in any study, one thing is outer body of the whole scriptures, like how many chapters Gita has, uh, and what are the names of the chapters, and then each chapters what they talk about, little. Then the structure, skeleton. Skeleton means like in our body also there is a head connected to the arms and the down portion. So then the spinal cord means the back and everything is connected. So the skeleton is there. So in the similar way, how to see the skeleton of Bhagavad Gita? So you will find the link of each chapter to the other chapter. You will find that link actually. So skeleton is there. And also in the skeleton you will find there some interior connections, like hands they have some, here also connection, some here wrist also connection. So there also you will find some different sections are also discussed in the chapter, in Bhagavad Gita you will find that also. Then comes sequence. Sequence means in our body we can see how we eat food, then energy it is converted into carbohydrate, sugar, then later the blood, then bone, then marrow. So like that there's a sequence there. So in the similar way we also understand how the yoga ladder is there in Bhagavad Gita, how to advance from one stage to another stage. And this is understood by the people who are not even in a path of bhakti also. So they know that yes, first comes like karma yoga, then jnana yoga, and then jnana yoga, then dhyana yoga. So some directly perfect from jnana yoga, some from jnana yoga they go to dhyana yoga and perfect, and some after that they go to bhakti yoga and perfect. So like that. But in our Bhagavad Gita is special Bhagavad Gita, which therefore I said na flavored Bhagavad Gita. So this flavored Bhagavad Gita, we need not to take any path, neither karma yoga, nor jnana yoga, nor dhyana yoga. Directly bhakti yoga is taking us through all the journey what other yogas are taking. So this is speciality of our bhakti path. We need not to go to any other path. If you go to any other path, your bhakti will become mixture, no? So therefore, this bhakti, Kevala bhakti, what we are practicing, sadhana bhakti, it will itself take you through journey of all other yogas achievements. You will get all things. So therefore, there is a Prabhupada mentions that there is a elevator and there is a stair. Stair will take us. It will take some time for us to climb on stairs and reach to the destination. But elevator means lift. Lift can easily take us. So our bhakti process is lift. So that is called uh, sequence. And then the themes are mentioned, thematic understanding of Bhagavad Gita, like Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga. These are thematic understanding, and in that also many themes are mentioned: how to control senses, how to control mind, how to get away from this material world by remembering Krishna. So there are different sections described in Bhagavad Gita, where these things are discussed. So thematic understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Then even the same themes can be understood through different visions. They are called scrutinizingly understanding Bhagavad Gita. Means different, like you find Chetan Charan Prabhu, you find he has written so many reflections on Bhagavad Gita. Same shloka I will take and then you'll write so many other reflections, year reflection. So different ways you are seeing that verse. So scrutinizingly understanding. So these are the different ways. Even Acharya also says that one thing is like analysis, doing the analysis of the shlokas through Acharya's commentaries. What Acharya say, how to understand the shlokas, what do you mean by this word to word, what do you mean by this word in this shloka. So Srila Prabhupada also, as well as previous Acharya also, they write commentary. So we understand in that way. Means the text we understand. Okay. And then application of that whole sloka in our own life, Srila Prabhupada mentions, or sometimes we have to also understand. Or Srila Prabhupada mentions the application of the whole shloka in a path of bhakti, application oriented, then preaching orientation, how we have to use this shloka for preaching, then personal application, preaching application, theological application, when you want to convince somebody about God. So there is a theological application of the shloka. So this is called scrutinizingly reading Bhagavad Gita. So these are the ways to read Bhagavad Gita. But the most important, why we are reading Bhagavad Gita, is to develop devotion, to surrender to Krishna. Prabhupada says, na, the purpose of Gita, Krishna is telling everyone, surrender. Surrender karo bas. Baki sab chhod do. Surrender. We have to surrender our free will to Krishna. You have to surrender our free will. That Krishna, I want to serve you. I am not a scholar. ना हम विप्रो न च नरपति, ना हम वैश्यो न शूद्रो, कुछ नहीं हूँ मैं, एकदम पापी हूँ एक नंबर का. I have gone away from your lotus feet. I simply want to surrender to you. I have no intelligence, no knowledge, कुछ नहीं है. सब कुछ पढ़ने के बाद भी actually नहीं है. So even Sanatan Goswami is saying that kena ami keme amar japat apat rahe. Who am I? Why I am suffering in this material world? I don't know. People say that I am very learned Pandit, but I don't know who am I. So this is our situation. Do I know who am I? I may have read and heard so many times I am a soul. But अभी तक पता नहीं लगा कौन सा सोल, जूते वाला सोल, पैर का सोल या अंदर का सोल. हम लोग सोल रट के, अच्छा है रटना ही चाहिए, लेकिन अभी तक जान नहीं पाए हम आत्मा है. तो हम वास्तव में बुद्धू हैं. अभी भक्ति चालू नहीं हुई है. भक्ति कब चालू होती है? When it mentions that ना शोचति ना कामशति सम सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद भक्ति लभते परम ब्रह्म भूत प्रसन्न आत्मा. कृष्णा से भक्ति तो वहां पे चालू होती है. ब्रह्म भूत प्रसन्न आत्मा ना सोचती ना कामशति. जब सोचना और कांक्षना, कोई इच्छा नहीं है, कोई लेमेंटेशन, सब खत्म हो जाएगा, तब भक्ति के लिए ही चाहत बचेगी, तब भक्ति चालू होती है. मद भक्ति लभते पराम, मतलब वहां से वास्तव में भक्ति का इंजन चालू होता है. अभी तो वार्म अप हो रहा है केवल. अभी हम वार्म अप कर रहे हैं बस. अभी तो काम क्रोध भरा पड़ा है, उसी से स्ट्रगल चल रहा है बस. और हम बोलते प्रभु जी 10 साल हो गया, 20 साल हो गया माला घुमाते. आस्क अ क्वेश्चन. वी हैव अ गोल आल्सो. काम क्रोध लोभ मोह मद मत्सर, इससे जब हम निकलेंगे तब भक्ति के का सन, द सूरज, विल बी एबल टू सी. सो देयरफॉर वी हैव टू कम टू द स्टेज ऑफ निष्ठा. बिफोर निष्ठा, अनर्थ निवृत्ति, भक्ति इज वेरी स्लो और इट्स क्वाइट कंफ्यूजिंग. समटाइम्स वी आर इन वेरी इलेटेड वे, अच्छा भक्ति कर रहे हो, क्योंकि डल हो जाते हैं हम लोग, क्योंकि अनर्थ है ना. अनर्थ कवर कर देता है. 3 मोड्स ऑफ मटेरियल नेचर ऑलवेज ट्रबलिंग अस सो मच. So therefore, through path of bhakti, we will be able to clear all this. Anartho pasmam sakshat bhakti yogam adokshade, lokam sya chakre satvat samhita. So Ved Vyas written Srimad Bhagavatam for this purpose only, कि अनर्थो उपस्नम साक्षात. So अनर्थों को खत्म करने के लिए भागवत है, भगवद गीता है. So we are reading Bhagavad Gita to develop devotion, and devotion is attained in the mood of humility, in the mood of surrender. So we are surrendering to Lord Krishna after reading all Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, you taught only one thing in Bhagavad Gita. What? सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य. जब भी कुछ भी ना आए, और आए भी तभी भी हमेशा भगवान के शरण में रहो, भक्तों के शरण में रहो. Try to understand Krishna in that mood. Try to Srila Prabhupada, you will go now. Will discussing those things. Says that Bhagavad Gita, how one can remember Krishna all the time, because this is the goal of Bhagavad Gita. Means I want, surely surrender is there, so we have to surrender. But ultimately, what I want to achieve through surrender, I want to remember Krishna throughout my life and all the time. How to attain? Srila Prabhupada says that it is possible when you have a sense of love. We have to develop sense of love for Krishna, because the person whom we love, we can remember him or her throughout our life. Yes, so therefore we have to develop that sense of love. And then somebody can ask, how to develop that sense of love? Then Prabhupada says we have to meet a person of that kind जो already उस love में है, and we have to learn from him how to love Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada was a lover of, he's a pure devotee. And so he will teach, and he is teaching how to love Krishna in our day-to-day activities, how we should think of Krishna. So in that way, we have to learn to love Krishna at our stage. We cannot be like Mahabhagavat. We cannot imitate like Srila Prabhupada, remembering Krishna's pastime. But we can follow what he says. Therefore, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj says, try to serve Krishna in such a way so that Krishna would like to see you. Don't try to see Krishna directly, but try to serve Krishna in such a way. So this is possible. So this is the thing. So we want to develop the Kevala Bhakti. For that purpose only we are reading Bhagavad Gita, and that is our goal in Bhagavad Gita. And yes, then it comes to second part of the question, that what about others? Family members reading Bhagavad Gita but not coming to sincere, giving up all bad habits. See, one thing we should understand, our path is a core, but the Puranas, the Vedas, whatever they are teaching us or to others, they have a, you can say, course of many lives. They are giving a course of piety for many lives. So after one life, like it's mentioned ना, एक चैप्टर पढ़ो, अगले जीवन में ह्यूमन बर्थ होगा, अगला चैप्टर दोबारा पढ़ो, फिर कुछ और मिलेगा, फिर अगला चैप्टर पढ़ो, फिर और कुछ मिलेगा. So they are giving like this. But one who understands, I am reading chapters, I am going here and there. What about going out of the world? How to do that? Then he has to become more sincere. More sincere. And whenever such kind of advertisements are given in this such Mahatmya, it is to develop our faith, in scriptures, not to exploit the such kinds of advertisements. Exploitation means what? Okay, I will do one time and I will remain कर्मी only. मैं कर्मी रहूँगा, लेकिन गीता पढ़ के कर्मी रहूँगा. Not to exploit that. So the person who is reading Bhagavad Gita, and if he has a bad mentality, कि I will do all sins, but I will read Bhagavad Gita. This is not good. Shastra never mentions that you should keep committing your sin and also reading. See, if unknowingly somebody is doing and unknowingly reading Bhagavad Gita like Ajamila chanted, and then it is okay. He will be purified slowly. But Shastra never say that to commit sin as well as read Bhagavad Gita, and then Bhagavad Gita will always help. So this is not correct. This is aparad. Then it comes into aparad. So we should give knowledge to these people that okay, you are in certain profession, you're reading Bhagavad Gita, you have faith in Bhagavad Gita, but try to slowly give up your bad habits, slowly give up. Because ultimately Gita is also trying to free you from bad habits. So why don't you help Gita to help you? Those who help themselves, God helps. It says, na, those who help themselves, God helps them. So no, God has given us free will. God will not, unless there is a kripa. So we say ना, कृपा सिद्धि. So कृपा सिद्धि तो बहुत मुश्किल है मिलना, जब तक भगवान खुद ही नहीं आते. So unless these things are there, every person has to endeavor personally to get rid of his anarthas by practicing bhakti. Nobody else is going to help him in this path. In the sense, means he has to take up the onus of cleaning his own anarthas. हम देख चुके हैं. We are living that life actually. We have, till the time we maintain the spirit of sense enjoyment, sense gratification, we are not going to become pure devotee. And without becoming pure devotee, we cannot enter the Vaikuntha Lok. It's not possible. So we are seeing that. So therefore, all such advertisements are making us closer and closer to some pure devotee who will guide us later in future how you should practice bhakti in a nice way. So it's like that. It's not for exploiting actually. Okay, yes.
So, Prabhuji, in this, like, I'll give you one example. Like, the instance I was mentioning that na, how people make use of Bhagavad Gita and then keep doing sinful activities.
Hmm.
Like, I have a relative in my family who has a business, and they take use of black magic to suppress the business of other people. Okay, and the lady in the family, she daily reads Bhagavad Gita end to end, all the shlokas. So almost 3 hours, 3.5 hours, he has been reading from last almost, if I know, not less than 25, 30 years. And if we talk to her that na, ke, why you use this black magic on other people for doing these things, they say that, "Okay, see, we have to increase our business, so these are business tactics. What we have to do. At the same time, uh, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, so Bhagavad Gita says that na, all my sinful activities will be vanquished."
Hmm.
So,
Yes.
what about that, Prabhuji?
So see, okay, as I mentioned, कि basically such instructions are not to exploit the instructions, basically to help that person get rid of his sins. So now the person is doing both the activities, the effect will be minimal. Means the effect of reading Bhagavad Gita will be reducing. But again, the effect is there. Never underestimate the power of God. Never underestimate the power of the Bhagavad Gita. Again, scriptures are again reminding us. People, he might be doing so many sinful here and there. ठीक है, करने दो उसको, कर रहा है, अब नहीं सुन रहे तो जाने दो. भगवान का शरण तो लिया है ना, फेथ कहीं तो है उसका, कहीं तो है. और मरते मरते वो चिल्लाएगा, मैं तो गीता पढ़ा था, भगवान बचा ले मुझे, he'll be saved. So Krishna is so merciful actually.
But then what about Prabhuji, faith of other people who see these people?
No problem,
And
no problem. Are Krishna, where he, when Krishna says in 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada many times mention what is the definition of sadhu. Hmm? Sadhu reva samantabhya. Apicheta suduracharo. Bhajate mam ananya bhag. Krishna does not say if you chant my holy name you will not commit sin. Krishna says you are a sadhu. Even if you are a sadhu, you may commit the most abominable sin because of your previous life inclinations. You may do that. But still, I will call you sadhu because you have taken shelter of my devotional service.
okay,
Krishna says that. Surely, other Acharya also says, mentions if that devotee is again committing sins knowingly and not improving his character, he is not a very high class devotee. But they don't say that he is not a devotee. They say that he is a devotee, but not high class. Not we should not associate with such a devotee. So this person whom you are talking about, he he has asat sangha. Because of that asat sangha and previous life impression, is not able to give up that activity. But because he's continuing or he or she is continuing some faith in Bhagavad Gita and reading, so it will help. Or it is
okay,
better than those materialists who have no faith in Bhagavad Gita and simply
yeah, yeah.
outside kari rahe. So चिंता मत करो, they will become devotee in future. Just tell them you read Bhagavad Gita, एकदम अच्छे से पढ़ो, हमारा भगवद गीता पढ़ो, कोई बात नहीं. करना है करो, जो करना है करो, ठीक है, आप पढ़ो बस भगवद गीता.
Mhm. Okay.
Someday it will come out in a nice way. उनके हृदय से आएगा, आप चिंता मत करो, सब होने वाला, ये प्रोसेस ऐसा ही है. लेकिन what I mean to say, when you understand that now I have to improve, I have to take up to proper guru, acharya, parampara, that time you have to take up the onus to clean your own anartha. उस समय आपको करना पड़ेगा. That is what I'm saying. जैसे अब हम भक्त बन गए ना, अब भक्त बन गए तो अभी हमको पापड़ बेलना पड़ेगा. अभी हमको अपने को क्लीन करना है. Nobody is going to tell आ जाओ आपको नहला देते क्लीन करना. नहीं 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 नहीं. You have to take up. You have to wake up for मंगल आरती. You have to wake up. You have to eat only प्रसादम. You have to surrender to Guru. Nobody else will do. पहले हो जाता था, एक मंगल आरती कर लिया, सब लोग बोलेंगे वाह, ब्रह्मा भी बोलेंगे क्या मंगल आरती कर लिया पूरे लाइफ में एक बार, उसका श्लोका बन जाएगा. एक बार आप भक्त बन गए ना, once you become devotee, now you are a responsible human being. Now take up this process nicely. and perfect your life. That is what expected from all of us. क्योंकि एक लाइफ में परफेक्शन करना है ना हमको, एक लाइफ या दो लाइफ, मान लो 3 लाइफ, जो भी हो गया, तो फास्ट अगर करना है कन्वर्जन और ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, then we have to be serious. Okay, we'll go ahead.
One just follow up small question on third part of this. That is, ki Prabhuji, these glories which we have heard, for devotees they come as like automatic side effects. So like, or is it like because devotee don't focus on these things, so they are like just okay, fine. Whether they come or say okay. If they don't come, then also okay.
No,
Because
devotees, so devotees, they have to keep up their intentions very clear, very clear.
okay.
Intention is I am on the path of pure devotional service. My intention is not to achieve Swarga or Sivalok or any
Hmm, hmm,
piety. My intention is only to achieve Krishna's lotus feet. I want to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, other benefits which may come by doing all those things, that is up to Krishna. Eh?
okay.
That is up to Krishna. Whatever he wants to give me, that is up to Krishna. I may enjoy those benefits, I may suffer those lackness or whatever I have done wrong. But my goal is that. So goal is fixed, intention or fixed. Other things let it come and go. For us, we should not become diluted with all those things because our goal is not there. ना वो है ही नहीं ना, हमारा लक्ष्य नहीं
Yeah,
है.
yeah. Yes, yes.
तो फिर आने दो जिसको जो आना है. Okay, so we read it to even awaken our faith. Sometimes we are also not devotee. Our faith also sometimes goes down. When we understand, अरे गीता को कुल उठाने से इतना होता है, so then we will pick up Bhagavad Gita. If you are not reading Bhagavad Gita, we'll do certain kind of things because we have heard about it. By reading Bhagavad Gita, one shloka, आधा श्लोका पढ़ने से कितना फायदा हो रहा है. Okay, चलो.
Okay.
So okay, so now we are going to introduction part. Okay, so this is a long introduction. Srila Prabhupada wrote this introduction while he was writing the whole Bhagavad Gita. So this introduction was not written during publication, rather it was written along with the text of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, you find the two things, like even in preface also Srila Prabhupada mentions about the misinterpretation of Bhagavad Gita done by some people or purpose of Bhagavad Gita. But here, so that was written while Prabhupada was sending Bhagavad Gita for publication. But here, Bhagavad Gita, while it was Prabhupada was doing commentary on Bhagavad Gita, so that time only Prabhupada wrote the whole Bhagavad Gita, what is all about, what things are given. So introduction is so nice. Actually, introduction it is so nice and so long introduction, but it is very nice introduction. Without reading it, never read Bhagavad Gita. This is very, very important introduction. So we'll directly go to the we have read the prayers, we'll go ahead. So Srila Prabhupada mentions Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gitopanishad. You go to that page of introduction where Hare Krishna Mahamantra ends there. So there Bhagavad Gita is known as Gitopanishad. It is the essence of all Vedic knowledge and one of the most important Upanishad in the Vedic literature. So we know that Bhagavad Gita is comes in Mahabharata. Yes, it's one of the chapter in Mahabharata. So Mahabharata was written for less intelligent people. Stri Sudra Dvij Bandhunam Turaina Sruti Gochara. Ved Vyas mentions that. So, but Srila Prabhupada says कि Mahabharata is written for those people, Dvij Bandhus, Stri and Sudras. So, now will they gain anything from Mahabharata? No. If they miss this chapter of Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata, they will not gain. So therefore Bhagavad Gita is kept at the last so that they will go with the end. By reading Bhagavad Gita also they will understand whole Mahabharata. So he says that the essential part of Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita only. It is a Bhagavad Gita only, essential part of Mahabharata. And Bhagavad Gita, it is spoken by Krishna directly. So generally when God speaks anything, it is called Shruti Shastra. But here Bhagavad Gita is not spoken in that tone or in that understanding that this will be the mantra for some yagya or this will be glorification for some demigods. No, Bhagavad Gita is a devotional scripture. So Krishna is basically trying to extract out all the important verses or realizations from Vedic literature and putting it all together in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, it's called Bhagavad Gita. The God is singing. You know, sometimes when singing is done, singing does not mean it should contain everything. Singing means sometimes इधर से उठा means singing generally लोग क्या जब एकदम people are in a very happy mood or very sad mood also people, so they sing. So here Krishna is in very happy mood because Arjuna is there in front of, and he is a pure devotee and he is inquiring from Krishna, and Krishna is singing the song from all the Vedic text. He is extracting out the important things which are meant for the humanity. So it is also called Smriti Shastra. Means Krishna has remembered, he knows everything, and then he is speaking. That is called Smriti. So it is not a Shruti Shastra, but it comes in Shruti also because it's called Upanishad. Upanishad comes in Shruti. So therefore it is called Gitopanishad, it is called Gitopanishad. But the statements in Bhagavad Gita is not exactly like a Upanishad. It is also having so many other things. So therefore it is also called Smriti Shastra. So it is a Smriti Shastra, Shruti Shastra also. It's like that. And also a part of Itihas. Mahabharata is a Itihas. So it's also a part of Itihas. So these are the, you can say, explanation about Bhagavad Gita. So it is a Shruti, Smriti and Itihas. Okay. And Prabhupada says that recently an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. And so Prabhupada presented this English translation of Bhagavad Gita. I will go to, we have made some, you can say, mind map. So I will show you and then we will discuss about it. One minute. So this whole introduction is there in this mind map. So see what are those things are there. So what things Prabhupada is talking, we have put it at one place. Why one more commentary was made? Already so many commentary of Bhagavad Gita. So I think it is visible. Yes, I think दिख रहा है ना? So why one more commentary on Bhagavad Gita? So many Swamis, Acharyas, and people have written Bhagavad Gita commentary. Why one more was written? So we will discuss that. Why new disciplic succession was created? Already Bhagavad Gita was old, spoken. Why again Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita? Next, why it's a great mystery? Bhagavad Gita, why it is a great mystery? अरे सबको समझ में आ रहा है, संस्कृत बहुत सिंपल है भगवद गीता का. Then why it is a mystery? What is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? And who is the proper student of Bhagavad Gita? Who should be enrolled for this course of Bhagavad Gita? Was Arjuna ignorant and deluded? Arjuna supposed to be pure devotee, but he is himself deluded. He is ignorant. He does not know whether it is a body or soul, and he is not following his duty properly. So whether it was the reality, so we'll understand that. Okay, so this one side, another side. What are the 5 basic subject matters explained in Bhagavad Gita that we'll discuss? So Bhagavad Gita explains the 5 basic subjects. Then supreme absolute truth is an ultimate issue of person. Whether absolute truth is a person or he is a formless. That is also explained in introduction. Vedic knowledge is not a question of research because it is received from transcendental sources. So Vedic knowledge, it is top to down, it is coming. Means it's given. When something is given, like a company is giving you a laptop, you cannot just open laptop and start saying, why the motherboard is like this, I will break it and make it the way I want. You cannot break it and make it. You will lose the laptop. Yes. So Vedic knowledge is given. We have to simply receive it in a oral reception. So it's not a question of making research. One can do research, but one cannot again neglect or give up the knowledge just because he is not able to prove the theory. So therefore it's not a question of a research. Then in 11th chapter the Lord is addressed as Prapitamaha. So as you have read, gone through the Ishopanishad, what is the shloka? Isha vashyam idam sarvam yat kinche jagatam jiga tena taktena bhunjita magradha kasya sviddanam. So then it says that one should take up only his own quota. So how and why one should take up one's own quota, that is also discussed here in the introduction. Then what is the Sanatan Dham? What is Sanatan Lord? What is Sanatan living entities? And what is Sanatan Dharma? All these Sanatan, Sanatan, Sanatan. ये सब क्या है प्रभुपाद जी बताने वाले. Prabhupada will tell in introduction. Then worship of demigods and Lord Sanatan Dham. Who will go to demigod Loka and who will go to Sanatan Dham? Whether it is important to worship demigod or not. And at last the conclusion of this whole introduction. What is the conclusion? So these are all the important things we are going to discuss. So now 10 minutes are remaining. I will discuss some only, जितना भी है 2-3 कर लेते हैं, ठीक है. So why one more commentary? So see, this mind map is made along with the text. So आप उसमें text में जाके you can understand slowly how it is done. So why one more commentary? Because in almost every one of the commentary, the commentator has expressed their own opinion without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. So this is why this commentary is required. Because all Bhagavad Gita have been become like a serpent touching the milk. Milk is nutrient, means is healthy for our life. But when it is touched by serpent, what happens? It will become poisonous, and the same milk will kill us. So therefore Prabhupada says there is no use of reading other Bhagavad Gita which has misinterpretation. We have to read Bhagavad Gita from a person who is a devotee of Krishna, or who has understood Krishna in a proper way, and he has explained, and he must have guru also, guru parampara. Okay. So then this is one thing. Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by speaker himself. You find in the introduction, Prabhupada mentions here in the second paragraph, in the spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like if you want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the direction written on the label. Okay. So what is the example given? Medicine. So medicine should be taken according to prescription, or on the medicine also it's written how many times it should be consumed. Yes. So therefore Prabhupada says first thing is commentary is required, because the spirit of Bhagavad Gita was lost, it was misinterpreted. Then he says, what is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita? The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is to be taken in the way a speaker or the maker of the medicine, or the doctor who is giving the medicine, how they have prescribed, accordingly one should take the medicine, and accordingly one should understand Bhagavad Gita similar way. Okay, so this example is there, like a medicine. And then how to understand Bhagavad Gita, this is one mention. Another thing, those who want to understand Bhagavad Gita, first they have to understand Lord Sri Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. This is very important. Okay, why I should understand like that? Because Sankaracharya, Ramanucharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbar Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all of them have understood Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. So you have to follow the Acharya Parampara. Just follow the Acharya. Mahajano yena gata sapanta. So you have to follow the Acharya, Mahajanas. So that's why, so first accept Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. He is not simply a great orator or a great historian person or some extraordinary demigod or some powerful human being. Nothing of such thing. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. Swayam Bhagwan, Param Bhagwan, Purna Purushottam Bhagwan, Para Brahma, and it is exactly accepted by other acharyas. So therefore first accept that. Uske baad, how to take it? As Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, in that way we have to take it. Okay, so this is first thing. Let us go to next part. Why a new disciplic succession? नया disciplic succession क्यों चालू कर दिया? So answer is because old disciplic succession was broken. Why it was broken? Yoga nashta parantapa. Why? Because of misinterpretation. Same. Sun God, he spoke to Sun God so many years before. Now, in between, somebody and many others also, they misinterpreted Bhagavad Gita, and so then it was broken. So then it goes ahead here. So okay, it was broken. Then why Arjuna was made the next receiver of Bhagavad Gita? अर्जुन को क्यों बनाया? किसी और को बोलते, युधिष्ठिर को बोलते, दुर्योधन को बोल देते, हैं? अर्जुन को क्यों बनाया? So now these are the qualities of Arjuna, why he became first recipient of Bhagavad Gita, or the new parampara acharya. So what are those? Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjuna especially because Arjuna was a devotee of Krishna, a direct student of Krishna and his intimate friend. रहस्यो है एतद उत्तमम, भक्तो असी में सखा चेति रहस्य है एतद उत्तमम. तो उत्तम रहस्य was revealed to a direct student of Krishna. Direct student है, बीच में कोई नहीं है, direct. And then intimate friend. You know, Arjuna was very intimate friend of Krishna. He used to always remember Krishna. One time he was sleeping and somebody heard on his limbs or body that through his limbs the Krishna name was coming. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And Krishna also appears with Arjuna all the time, like Nar Narayan. So Krishna has a great attachment for this devotee Arjuna. So he is a very intimate friend. So that's why Arjuna was chosen. Another thing Prabhupada mentions, anyone who wants to receive Bhagavad Gita directly, he must be a devotee in direct relationship with the Lord. So what a direct relationship? So Prabhupada mentions that one may be devotee in passive state means Santaras, one may be devotee in active state means Dasyaras, one may be devotee as a friend, Sakhyaras, one may be devotee as a parent. ये कौन सा हो गया? वात्सल्य, और ये माधुर्य. So means very fortunate position should be there here mentioned. If you Arjuna had that, and Prabhupada mentions that every one of us has that relationship with Krishna, means one of the rasa we have with Krishna, and we will attain that after we perfect our bhakti. But Arjuna already had perfected his bhakti, and he had transcendental friendship with Krishna, and so he was chosen for speaking or for receiving Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna considered Krishna as God according to scriptures on the strength of the sages. Yes, we remember that. Asita devalo vyasa swayam cheva bravishi me. He says, na, कि even Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, they all accept Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Yes, this comes. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vivam Ahustvarisaya Sarve Devarsi Naradas Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Pravishime Sarva Deta Vritanmanye Yanmam Badasi Keshava Nahi Te Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Devana Danavaha. So this is spoken by Arjuna. So he accepts Krishna, Param Brahma, the supreme Brahman, Param Dhama, the supreme abode, Pavitram means the purest person, Param, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, the topmost, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, he is a Sasvat Purusha, eternal person, Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum. Adi Deva means he is a source of all the devas, and Aja means he is not born. He is unborn. Vibhum, he is the greatest. Ahustvam Risaya Sarve. The same thing was spoken by Devarshi. Means they all have accepted Krishna in that way. Asita, Devalo, Vyasa, all of them have accepted Krishna in this way. What Arjuna is saying. Similar way. And so I am also accepting. So like that. So that's why these are the qualities of Arjuna for being the right recipient of Bhagavad Gita. And also first recipient. ओके, कोई क्वेश्चन है क्या किसी को? एनी क्वेश्चन? So all of you just follow with me because you have your books with you, I have my mind map with me, and I have said that we are going in succession, one after another. So you will find these things in your directly introduction. Then why it's a great mystery? Why Bhagavad Gita is a great mystery. So then Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in the spirit of devotion. See, here also he mentions about it. Ki spirit is lost. And spirit is basically how Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, that is a spirit. But he has not explained what is that spirit. One thing is mentioned, that Prabhupada mentions that accept Krishna as a god, or sorry, not god, as a supreme personality of Godhood. Now here explicitly Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in the spirit of devotion. This is important. What is that spirit of devotion? One should not think that he is equal to Krishna, or nor should he think that Krishna is an ordinary personality or even a very great personality. Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So according to the statement of Bhagavad Gita or the statement of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand Bhagavad Gita, he should at least theoretically accept Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, and with a submissive spirit he can understand Bhagavad Gita. Unless one reads Bhagavad Gita in submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita because it is a great mystery. ओके, ठीक है. तो ये डिवोशन में सबमिसिव स्पिरिट में यहाँ पे बोला गया है. स्पेशली द वर्ड डिवोशन हैज नॉट कम हियर, बट सबमिसिव स्पिरिट हैज कम, एंड प्रभुपाद सेज दैट एटलीस्ट बिगिन टेकिंग कृष्णा एज अ सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉड. इट्स मोर लाइक द सेम व्हाट इज मेंशन्ड हियर. ऊपर वाला ही है, थोड़ा सा और एक्सप्लेनेशन दे दिया गया है. ठीक है, आगे चल के हम देखेंगे, वो भी आने वाला है, डिवोशन वाला पार्ट भी. ओके, नाउ पर्पस एंड proper student. So with this we'll end. Purpose and proper student. So what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? Go ahead in your introduction. After you see, you have to read introduction. That is homework. I have read and I have made some notes. So for me, I have done my homework. You have to do your homework. Okay, so purpose. What is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? To deliver the mankind from the science of material existence. Arjuna वाचा परम ब्रह्म के उसके आगे आप जाओगे, so you will find just what is Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the science of material existence. Could you find? मिला क्या? ठीक है, दो तीन चीज़ ऐड कर देता हूँ. सो ओके, आई थिंक इट विल बी नॉट वेरी मच पॉसिबल फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू. तो मैं इसी से डायरेक्टली एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ, तो वो भी दोनों को हम साथ में लेकर चलते हैं. ठीक है. सो सी, इन दिस बुक ना, आफ्टर इमं विवस्वते योगम प्रोक्तावान हम अव्ययम, यू विल फाइंड Prabhupada mentioning in introduction, there is a disciplic succession. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again because that time it was broken. The succession was broken. Then Prabhupada is explaining about the Arjuna's qualities. What I mentioned just now, Arjuna's quality. How Arjuna is a devotee in a friendship. Okay. And he also mentions that there are three kinds of transcendentalists: Jnani, Yogis, and Bhaktas. Impersonalist, meditator, and devotee. Okay, so if you go through this, you will find, therefore Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna. That is to say, he must be devotee in direct relationship with the Lord. Means devotee in direct relationship मतलब pure devotee हो, pure devotee. Okay, that is done. Then you find the next page, Swarup Siddhi. Same, after that one may be devotee in passive state, it is mentioned, every living being out of many billions and trillions of living beings has a particular relationship with Lord eternally, that is called Swarup. By process of devotional service, one can receive that Swarupa, and that state is called Swarup Siddhi. एक मिनट, आप लोगों को बाउंसर ज़्यादा लग रहा है मेरे को. एक मिनट. नहीं, ये नहीं है. You are able to see? एक मिनट. हाँ, दिस इंट्रोडक्शन. ठीक है, ये वाला हो गया अभी. हाँ, दिस वी रेड. So I was talking about the Sarupa, Sarup Siddhi. This is called Sarup, Sarup Siddhi. So Arjuna had a Sarupa already in friendship. But do we have Sarupa? We also have Sarupa. Prabhupada mentions we all have Sarupa. And by Bhakti, that Sarupa will be revealed. That is what mentioned here. And then, so in our mind map, we have taken everything together. eh, that Arjuna, why he was chosen as a first recipient. So first we discussed that one. He was a friendship and he was having devotion, other things. And then Arjuna also accepts Krishna like that. Param Brahma, Param Dham. Prabhupada says all these things. So Param Dham means what? Adi Deva means what? All these things Prabhupada says. So Arjuna accepts Krishna in that way. So the Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in the spirit of devotion. See, Prabhupada mentions. And then he mentions one should not think Krishna. So this is what I put directly. One should not think Krishna is equal to him, extraordinary personality. So this is spirit is mentioned. ठीक है, वहां तक हम आ गए. Now what is Bhagavad Gita? So here I was telling the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the signs of material existence. This was what I was saying. ठीक है, so this is one. And then what is who is the proper student of Bhagavad Gita? The desire to overcome the ignorance of material world, inquiry about suffering, curiosity about the nature of the Supreme, all such should be there. And where he wants to go after death, when such kind of inquiries are made, then he is a proper candidate of Bhagavad Gita. So where we will find that, we will see that here. So after Prabhupada explaining here, this is very important lines we can read. इसको पढ़ सकते हैं आप लोग, बहुत अच्छा लिखा है यहाँ पे. Then Prabhupada mentions about who is the proper student of Bhagavad Gita. See, out of many human beings who are suffering, there are few who are actually inquiring about their position, as what they are, why they are put in such awkward position, and so on. Unless one is awakened to the position of questioning his suffering, unless he realizes that he does not want suffering, but rather wants to make a solution of all suffering, then one is not considered the perfect human being. मतलब वो मनुष्य भी नहीं है. If you are not questioning human, he is not human. Humanity begins when this sort of inquiry is awakened in one's mind. In Brahma Sutra, inquiry is called Brahma Jigyasa, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Every activity of a human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of absolute. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering, where they came from, where they shall go after death, are proper students of understanding Bhagavad Gita. So that is why people don't take up to process of bhakti, because these inquiries have not come in their mind. मुझे घर चाहिए, मुझे पैसा चाहिए, मुझे पावर चाहिए, पोजीशन चाहिए, ऑपुलेंस चाहिए, ये सब दिमाग में घूम रहा है व्यक्ति के, और वो आता है भगवद गीता क्लास के लिए तो उसको लगता है यार ये तो जमा नहीं है मुझे, ये तो बोले सब कुछ छोड़ने को बोल रहे हैं. They are saying that material world is a miserable place, you can never be happy, your goal of life is to go back to Godhead. Then that person is totally mesmerized. I have come for certain sadhu means he should help person to get rid of his misery, but this sadhu is cutting all my attachments. So Bhagavad Gita is meant for that purpose actually. Therefore Prabhupada says they are the proper student of understanding Bhagavad Gita. The sincere student should have firm respect for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such was the Arjuna. Okay, so this much is enough for today. Tomorrow we'll begin at 2 o'clock. Hare Krishna. कोई क्वेश्चन है? Anish Prabhu, 25 people have come.
यस जी. एक्चुअली पहले 35 थे, आई थिंक 1-2 यूनिट के बाद कम हो गए थोड़े.
ओके ठीक है. हाँ यस, महादेव प्रभु बोलिए.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. मिस नॉर्मली जब हम लोग पहले भक्ति में आते हैं तो ये तो अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं होता है हमारे पास की, तो हमको भी ऐसे प्रीच किया है कि आप डिवाइस करो, ये थोड़ा थोड़ा थोड़ा, और ये इतना तो ये नहीं था हमारा कि लाइक मुझे मटेरियल इससे पूरा इससे ही बाहर आना है, और इतना हमारा इंक्यूजिटी नहीं था। लेकिन बाद में स्लोली स्लोली हमें ऐसे थोड़ा बता के थोड़ी स्लोली स्लोली डोज दिया तो समझ में आया लाइक ऐसे कैसे मूड रखेंगे लाइक थोड़ा सा। जैसे बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के लिए जाते तो हम डायरेक्टली ऐसे ऐसे तो हम एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते कि ऐसे लोग इंक्वायरी करेंगे, तो कैसे उसको थोड़ा
Ah,
सा।
no, 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 no. No, it is not to say in that way. I am saying proper candidate means like Amrish Pranpu was asking whether their family members they were proper candidate for Bhagavad Gita. So they are still reading Bhagavad Gita. So for us to first inspire them to read Bhagavad Gita, take Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavad Gita. But I am saying when they will become proper candidate for understanding Bhagavad Gita and learning from a devotee, when they come to this platform of inquiry.
Okay.
But our goal is not immediately to bring them to this level. Immediately हम नहीं कर सकते. We have to inspire them. See, if you have Bhagavad Gita, you can say such sloka also. कि if you read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you'll go where? Shivlok. If you are a worshipper of Shiva, you want to go to Shivlok, read Bhagavad Gita. If you want to go to Indralok, read 2 chapters of Gita. ऐसे बोल सकते हो. If you
Yes,
want,
initially we need that flavor like in
yes,
different flavors. Yes.
yes, yes.
Later they can understand. Yes.
Yes, you can say because anyway you are saying the right thing and let him take up to Bhagavad Gita, and you also speak about Janma Mrityu. You can say that see all of us are going to be die. We are going to die one day. We came without anything. We will go without anything, and so nothing will remain in this world. Or we will also, and then we will take birth in the lower species because if we have committed some sinful activities. So we have to inquire why I'm suffering today, why I will be suffering tomorrow, why there is next birth, what is death. So if you want to learn about all these things, Bhagavad Gita is a good book. You go through it, you learn. So he explained some transcendental subjects and also give him allurement through some material benefits also. No issue, actually. No issue. He should take up. Because हमारा प्रोसेस वैसा नहीं है कि हम शुरू में ही काट देंगे. नो, वी हैव टू बेनिफिट पीपल. प्रभुपाद से मेरा बुक पकड़ा दो उसको बाबा, वो पढ़ेगा समझेगा बाद में. बस आप ऐसा कभी मत करना है गलती से. प्रभु जी ने बोला है यू आर नॉट प्रॉपर कैंडिडेट, आई विल नॉट गिव यू भगवद गीता. नो, यू शुड गिव भगवद गीता.
Right.
Everybody should have Bhagavad Gita.
No, so sometimes we also sometimes expect, yeah, we are doing so much book distribution, we are preaching so much, but people are not taking seriously. Sometimes this thought comes, but this point is very necessary because only such people will come to our become sincere that has this qualification. That also needed, but sometimes because initially I also don't know this what is the use of this Bhagavad Gita and all these things, but slowly I understood the purpose, and then later I little bit understand, yes, the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is different. And it takes time some initially, but we have to, yes,
Brahmaji read Vedas for 3 times. Then he understood the conclusion of Veda is Bhakti. Brahmaji having 4 heads. And he is the supreme, you can say, first engineer, the creator. He read Vedas for 3 times, then he understood. First times he understood Karma Kand, then Jnana Kand, then he understood it's a Bhakti. Actually, the Vedas are teaching Bhakti. And I will say also, even we also, when we read Bhakti Shastri, when we did our Bhagavad Gita, we also understood something. We understood, but it take time. It takes time actually. एक बार में नहीं होता है. आप सीख लो, नोट्स बना लो अच्छे से, बट ये भक्ति है ना. यू आर नॉट लर्निंग सम और क्रैमिंग सम गीता. भगवत गीता इज आवर लाइफ. When you more practice bhakti, when you meet with devotees more, we hear more lectures, then you will understand Bhagavad Gita more and more and more. Yes. So great acharyas. Dasrathi, he wanted to learn about the Swardharman Paritya. Dasrathi कौन है बाबा? वो इतना बड़ा स्कॉलर है. Dasrathi was such a big scholar in South India in C Sampradaya. He wanted to understand what do you mean by Swardharman Paritya. Can you teach me? हम में से कोई पूछता नहीं है. हमको पता है सर्वधर्म में सभी धर्म छोड़ दो, भगवान की शरण ले लो बस. But he wants to understand, means there are deeper meanings of everything and deeper connection with God. So what I mean to say, scripture never ends, their meanings never finishes. Their meanings are all deep and broad. So sometimes it's a broad, it can be applied to anyone, everyone, and sometimes it's a very deep, means one has to become very sincere to understand such meanings of the scriptures. They're very they go into depth actually. चलेगा. Okay. Srila Prabhupada की जय. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. तो tomorrow we'll meet at 2 o'clock. Hare Krishna.